But we got something new on Bichette. And the new news on Bichette is Bleacher Report, pure prediction, nothing too crazy. They have now changed their prediction from the Blue Jays to the Dodgers. And their contract projection for Bichette is 7 years, $210 million. My contract prediction was 8 years, $208 million. So this would definitely be higher than that. And the reason why that's different today than it was yesterday is the Blue Jays did sign an infielder, a corner infielder in Kazuma Okamoto to a 4-year deal. And now that you've signed an infielder, maybe for the Blue Jays, you pivot to Kyle Tucker instead of Bichette. Kyle Tucker is still looking for that $350 to $400 million deal. It doesn't appear that, at least right now, it's out there and that teams are motivated to sign him at that price. But if I'm the Dodgers and I want Bichette, which I've told you on this show, I've heard from agent circles that the Dodgers like Bichette more than Kyle Tucker and more than Cody Bellinger and more than any other free agents out there. And the reason for that, I truly believe, is purely they realize that if they were to sign Bichette, they could root for his success in years 1, 2, and 3, knowing that he'd be under contract for multiple seasons, playing at a position that he's already made clear he's willing to play now, which is second base. He's not asking to be a shortstop where he was minus 12 defensive runs saved. You have Mookie Betts playing there at a above average level, to say the least. And his floor there, I think, is better than Bichette right now. I mean, that's wild to think, but that's just where we are. And then eventually, with Max Muncy presumably playing possibly his last year with the Dodgers this year, that opens up third base in the future. So Bichette can go from your second baseman to your third baseman. He can play in the infielder. And if you are the Blue Jays and you want to add Kyle Tucker, are you really going to sign Kyle Tucker and Bichette and Dylan Cease? Yes, they got a taste of the World Series. Yes, they lost by a couple inches thanks to Miguel Rojas and Will Smith putting their foot on their bag and getting IKF out there. Maybe they're saying, hey, we are going to spare no expense and we're going to do anything we can to put together a championship roster. But I just can't see it. And you look at the roster spot that they would need, and there is some talk that they could trade Santander. They could eat 3/4 of his contract, and then you could find a way to sign Bichette and Kyle Tucker. And you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. You pay the Cohen tax and all that stuff, but that would bring their payroll to around $400 million. Is Rogers Communication that all in? I'd be very impressed if they were. If that was the case, then that tells you it's a Dodgers-Blue Jays race, and that the Mets and Stephen Cohen are saying to themselves, we don't need Pete Alonso. Forget that. I'm building a casino here. Maybe the Mets have fallen off and the Blue Jays have overtaken them. But if I'm the Dodgers right now, I'm starting to look at the opportunity there with Bichette. And it's starting to feel like a more real possibility. And sure, you need an outfielder. We'll talk about that at some point this week and the guys that we'll continue to zero in on. But here's the thing. Sometimes you just want to take the very best player possible. And I think that the 5 reasons why I think that Bichette would be the perfect signing this offseason on the position player side for the Dodgers are: 1, their offense needs to improve. Last year, if it weren't for a Herculean effort from that starting rotation, the offense would have been the story for why the Dodgers lost. A lineup with Shohei and Mookie and Freddie. I mean, you're averaging under 4 runs per game for most of the postseason. And Bichette absolutely raked in the World Series. 8 hits, had the big 3-run home run off of Shohei Ohtani. It shows that he's not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid of the big stage. And that's what he would be on here in LA. So the offense needs to be better, because who's the guy that Bichette would be playing alongside? It'd be Mookie Betts. They would be the keystone combination. And Mookie Betts, his offense isn't what it was. It's slightly above average. I think he has the potential to have a bounce back season. But think about this. If you sign Bichette and Mookie Betts still plays above average defense, but the offense has fallen off, well, the way you could still justify the final 7 years of Mookie Betts' contract is saying, hey, at the beginning of the career, it was all about the offense and what it did in right field. The middle of the career, it might be, hey, there's value in being a really good defensive shortstop, and you could supplement that offense with Bo at second. So that's one. Second biggest thing is the Dodgers get younger. The Dodgers can hope to sustain a dynasty by adding pieces along the way that are hungry and want to get younger. And Bo Bichette is 27 years old. How old is Kyle Tucker? Well, Kyle Tucker, he's 28. Cody Bellinger's older than that. Of the 3 free agents available, Bo is the youngest of the bunch. So you get younger. The third thing is it allows your defense to really have some cohesion where you're not going with the positional versatility. And yes, this would impact Hae-Sung Kim. Yes, this would impact Tommy Edman. I love both of those guys. But I will tell you that both of those guys in their best years would not put up offensive numbers like Bo Bichette would. It's just not who they are as players. So imagine having an infield that's locked in with Freddie at first, Bo at second, Mookie at short, and then third base, I think you can mix and match a little bit. I think you can use Miguel Rojas and Max Muncy and Kike Hernandez and Tommy Edman. There is the opportunity for mixing it up with that. But the truth is if the goal is to improve the roster on the offensive side, and I know that's something that they're considering, that's the position to do it at if you're going to use a trade piece for an outfielder. Because think about this. What infielder would you trade for? And don't tell me Ellie De La Cruz because this is his city. That's not going to happen. We know that he's not going to be traded. So he's the guy that makes more sense to sign, and then you would trade for the outfielder. So there's that. Also, the fourth thing I think is interesting. I think that he has star potential. The last name is the son of Dante Bichette, and there's a deep history there you would probably want to learn about, which makes his story really fascinating. There's that. There's the fact that young fans of the game would love him. I think if you're looking at Kyle Tucker, how bland is that? Imagine giving a guy $40, $50 million a year in Kyle Tucker that would probably be like the 8th best selling jersey for the Dodgers. And that doesn't sit right with me. But I think Bo Bichette, first I'd make him grow the hair out again. And I think fans would love it. I think fans would really embrace that. And I think that it's something that's significant about that. So, and then the fifth thing, wouldn't it be great to have the Blue Jays lose again? Imagine how upset Blue Jays fans would be. You beat them in the World Series, and then you take one of their beloved players. You turn that Blue Jay blue into Dodger blue. He takes the Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow path of you can't beat him, join him. And yeah, maybe he might get some KD Warrior vibes from some people, but I think it'd be more the Freddie Freeman vibes. I think if Bo goes to another team, which it could be the Phillies are interested in him, I think it's more because of that. I think it's more of, hey, my team wasn't as aggressive to go and sign me as I had hoped. So I think that's kind of where they're at. But all right, let's do some 7th inning stretch. Got some comments down below. I want all of your takes. Remember, what's the answer to the question? Of the 4, who would you rather have? Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, Tarik Skubal, or Cody Bellinger? I'll rank my 4. Bo Bichette's number 1 ahead of Tarik Skubal. The reason for that, the offense needs a boost, and if you sign him, you're guaranteed multiple years of Bo Bichette versus what's potentially 1 year of Tarik Skubal. So I'd go Bo Bichette. Behind him, I think I would go Tarik Skubal, just for the simple fact that, well, actually, I'll take that back. I think if Freddie Peralta is still in the mix as a trade, I'd probably put Kyle Tucker because he would only be signing here on a shorter-term, high AAV type of contract, and they need an outfielder. So I go Bo, Tucker, Tarik Skubal, and Cody Bellinger. Those would be my 4 in that list because I don't think enough people are talking about the needs on the offensive side, and I think that's a point of emphasis for this team.